Everybody's doing well today. I'm Terry Todd, head of claims for Lloyd's for the Americas. That's Canada, US, and my career ran about 5 years. I retired from military.
Good afternoon again, folks. As I understand, Reach River and Native Detroit, what up, though? I'm saying that just as a phrase, and it's something that we can embody, it's a way that we can greet one another, and just bring some additional love across the table when we do it. Owner of Great Lakes Benefit Group out of Southfield, Michigan. Been in the industry since 1996. I actually got a degree in insurance and risk management from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, and have been in the industry on the healthcare side for a long time. Started in voluntary benefits, moved over to a healthcare consultancy, and we're now doing business in 8 states, just opened the satellite office in Tampa, Florida as well. So excited to be here, excited to share with you, and been working with a lot of the brothers in the room in a short amount of time through Ngosi's vision, and we're just excited to share with you all.
Good afternoon, Amir Ali, Commander of the Faithful, Captain of the Cool Kids, and most importantly, next to you had a question. What was your question again? My question was around how can you leverage the relationship between agents and corporate groups?
But seriously, the thing is, we gotta talk to each other. A lot of folks say that they wonder who that guy is that keeps stopping people in the hallway, they introduce himself and gets people. Information is a currency of the realm. Because the name of the game for me is information, who you get it from, and the quality of it once you get it. So, to be specific to the question that you asked, find people that are doing it, whether they look like you or not, having the information, yeah. Does that make sense?
I think for me, it starts in rooms like this, right? About creating trust, creating an environment. And I think about Kyle when we met last year. Many times we just don't take up on the follow through, right? We have a great conversation at a session like this. Everybody goes back to doing what they do. Follow up is like, oh, I'm busy. I didn't get a chance to connect with you. So it has to be intentional. And I think that as much as I am a proponent of business ownership, I understand that there's value in having folks inside of it. How can I connect the dots? And there has always been the issue because we don't see things the same, but we don't necessarily need to see them the same, right? Because you're doing something totally different than what I'm doing. But collectively, when we sit down and talk, it's just a different conversation. So you have provided enlightenment for me just on our conversations when we got together. I don't know the corporate side. I can't tell you anything about the corporate side. I know about being on the streets and actually creating an agency. So that's a whole different mix, if you will. I set my own rules. I set my own charter. That's the good and the bad, right? Because if I'm not productive in that area, it can be tough. So I think it starts in rooms like this where we can actually get a relationship with someone on the inside. Until I came to this event last year, I had never seen as many Black folks in the industry because I've always felt like I was the only one on the streets doing what I'm doing. So I think that having the environment to have a conversation that will allow us then to get into those spaces and have those connections that we have not had in the past, because I don't know what y'all do. You know, so we don't have the conversation. It's easy to say over dinner, we don't have that conversation. But the follow-up after this, what do we do after we leave here today? That was my question when I left out last year. And you and I committed to talking, and we did that, right? And I'm committed to talking to this young brother here too as well. Rod and I talk on the regular basis. I talk to Ralph. I mean, I think JG3, we talk because we all look at, you know, we're in different spaces, but if we come together and have those conversations, we can begin to tackle that. Because let's think about it, in the corporate structure, I always look at it, it's big bank, take little bank. So I'm a small bank. right? I'm a little fella compared to what you're sitting inside of the Hartford, right? So to get that conversation, I need someone like you to actually help to advocate for why it makes sense for us to have a conversation with people like you on the streets. Because other than that, I mean, if I'm not producing for the Hartford, what the hell the Hartford want to talk to me about it, right? So I got to figure out how we make that connectivity, and then we help each other in that space. And then I'm gonna try to recruit you to come out and be on your own boss.
A lot of, you're so afraid of thinking people are going to think it because we ask a question. That safe space, where you ask that question under the safety, somebody hears if you speak it, if it meets your ends. The thing that used to make them so afraid of approaching somebody without ranking in any organization is that they think I was stupid, that I didn't know my business. Question, well, that's the end of the conversation and my career. But through the years, I've found, just ask the question and roll with the answer. And if you know that the answer that you're hoping to get helps you, forget your pride. Ask the question. Does that make sense? Okay. Last time or the first time, you wanted to ask a question. She didn't ask a question because you got something else.
Since I've been here, because I don't know nothing about PNC. Sitting in all these rooms. Yeah, yeah. You can't go directly to Carrie and just write this. Is that not a problem? No, you gotta have an art. I'm like, what's the art? So I mean, seriously, I mean, I'm sitting, telling sis was sitting in the meeting the other day, and I'm like, I don't know, I had to get up and walk out. They gonna call somebody. I don't know, let's go. But I had to ask them, so she's been helpful. Y'all been helpful. I mean, understand that because I did know when I saw him on the slides. I mean, he talking about Lloyd's of London. I was floored. I'm like, so brother, that Lloyd's of London. Well, we used to insure the slaves. So brother, they let a brother in. He ain't no little brother either. I mean, he's a tower brother. They scared of brothers like this. And I'm like, wow. And I see it, Buffalo Soldiers behind this Q sign. I said, he a real brother. Ride motorcycles, he a brother. But I think just and I said several people to carry. Hey, you go out here, you get to talk to connecting the dots. I'm like, you're an agency. I don't know what to tell you that space. I can tell you what this brother's been good at providing that information and having a listening ear. So to me, it's about still connecting those dots. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, literally here, man, I'm asking questions because I don't know what I don't know. And that's one of the things to plug for the health and life community. We want to have some more of that here when we get it tonight. We want to have some more action in that space. Because I just don't know, man. I don't know what a core app. I didn't know what a core app. I had never heard of it. I mean, I didn't know. I had never heard of that before. Like, and matter of fact, we're riding our over there talking. They talking about these systems, and I'm like, what is this? Don't you just write the app and they issue it and we just keep it moving? No, that's not it. So, you got a question over there, man.
It's a comment. I'll tell you what freed me once. One of my mentors said the only one concerned is one with clarity. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. Your goal is to walk out of there understanding for the next time that you're doing the lyrics.
We're talking past a cliche like that, right? Because we love cliche. We love past a cliche, right? Just explain what that looks like. It's good stuff. One thing I did that we were talking about AI that when I talked about it, when we had a public over there, so like
To think that somebody already thought about that and then speak up.
While we're figuring it out, man, it's horsepower in this one. Because what I noticed, you never said, they don't want me to know, they don't want me to do, they. The beautiful thing is, you never said that. And the illustration of that, how many people talk to on a daily basis that there's always a day that tells you what you can do versus you think what you can do. Is that true? Sound familiar? So hopefully, when everybody walks out of here, the ubiquitous day is conquered, ambitions are stirred, and we're gonna talk to each other and figure out how to make. Cool. All right.
Oh, that's right. So, this is a safe space. So I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what I've done in my career. So I started off selling life insurance in DR on the street from Mutual of Omaha. Then moved into corporate underwriting for AIG. Led a bunch of P&Ls. Got into AIG and I had to beat out 3,000 people for my spot. Black people in our supplier chain. The first name that I came up against was Mr. Prokop and Mickey Bowen. I made sure every single thing that they needed, they got. To QB where I ran structured sales all the way up to where I was head of strategy, including for reach out to me and ask me questions like, hey, from the corporate side to now, I run my own program administrator. I have this wealth of experience from people like Sean, people like at E.G. Bowman, to be able to say, okay, this is how they're going to view you on the corporate side, but these are the ways that we can protect your food. Which not everybody should be in ownership, let's be honest, right? We need to pull people into the industry that could be on the corporate side, that could be on the ownership side. But now we can tell you collectively in these safe spaces, any question you want to ask about what we're going to do on the corporate side, from working in the mailroom all the way to being like Ricky, where the name ring bells like Sunday at 12 o'clock, right? Yeah. We can tell you about what we've done, and then you can take that and, as he said, have fringe and references. You can go out and have contextual knowledge about, okay,
Let's say back to what I think I heard.
please.
You're talking about building your capability to match your ambition. So that as you travel the path that you think you're supposed to be on, not just out there flapping your lips, you're bringing a skill set that.
Elucidation, I'm going to take it one step further.
Take it there, brother.
There's room that you can come sit with and actually shadow, like, see what you do on a day out basis. I would say, we might say this might not be the right time because I got X, Y, Z. Called me, and I swear to God, everybody in here has talked to me at one point in time, which is a beautiful thing. But if you called me and said, hey, Anthony, going through this, you're dealing with a board, you're dealing with investors. I just want to get closer to how I manage when I have all these people on my cat table. My door's open, right? Come on. So that's what I'm talking about. Not only do you acquire the skills yourself, because you're able to ask the question in spaces where nobody's going to judge you. When I first started insurance and they moved me from life and health into PNC, somebody was like, oh, so you're going to be on the WC side. I was like, yeah, what can WC? They're like, work comp. I was like, I don't know. Like I said, the person that flashed in my mind, like, children. So, ask the questions in these safe spaces. That's our job collectively to help each other to de-risk any knowledge gaps. And then as we go further, arm you with practical experience of sitting with you. Because I would picture you when we talk, right? I've never worked on the captive agent side. So, except for you, Joe. So, very, very glad that, you've taken upon yourself to reach out to me again. Hopefully, as you said, continue dialogue.
Man, you got those cliches that are falling to the dust. Anybody ever heard that thing, crabs in the barrel in reference? Crabs or anything about crabs, putting it back in. He's talking about providing shoulder to get you out.
Hey, I live with my name is Gavin Shaw. That's welcome me. It's my second year coming out. I'm new to the insurance industry, but I'm not new to it. First successful. And I came to this industry because an enforcement company said, yeah, you talk so many times. Life side, GMC side, I want to work with people. One thing I did know is going to one of my first conventions, which is WCI. I would walk in there, I see, you're in the safe place, like, fucking, I need to learn. I would walk in, a black man with no problem. We're in here together, don't you get my contact and stuff. Half of these cats can't ever see my back. But when it's all said and done, it's like, we have to be intentional about our pledges to each other. And when I first met one dude on that counter, getting me out, he was like, I was like, wow, he's like, let's be on today. Have to be intentional about our business. And when we understand the size of the market share and the vertical that we're in the work of it's $56 billion being spent in my space. Just in my sector. When you realize that you must have a chance to and what you guys have to do, but we heard my brother. I met him 2.5 years ago, and he is not missed a step. Because when I call him, he answers. When you call me, he answers. He could be in London somewhere. He's like, yeah, I'm on a plane or whatever it may be. But guess what? He misses. And that's what we need to do. That we know how to say things. Be intentional about connecting each other. I mean, it's not right now this point. Connecting on so many different levels. It's like a 2-minute conversation. It's like this. There's a couple hours to get you have to be intentional, fellas, and understand our market and what we raise about, right? It's not just about life and this is in. We're there showing there's trillions of dollars floating in our head. All you have to do is put your hands up and jump directly up to the sector. Ecosystem.
My background is actually grocery retail, 27 years in public supermarkets. At one point, we only had like 2 store managers. But it was when those 2 stores and say, we need more and fight for more. And as more came along, we let them know it was us fighting for you that got you here. So let the collective stay where it is. Now we've totally changed that industry, right? So I think what everyone here needs to do is make sure that, one, we understand that this is a safe space, but also be willing and brave enough to defend each other outside of here, right? I used to go to conferences and they used to say things like this, y'all always sit together. It's only 5 of us. Like you're gang or something. And if you mess with one of us, you mess with what? So if you're thinking about firing him or moving him or doing something with his career, just know you have to answer to all of it. We're all going to be inquisitive as to why it happened. So each one of you here who hold a corporate role need to be willing and brave enough to ask the question when the decision is made that affects another.
You know, several companies ago, things were getting a little rough. And the caveat that I put out to that particular executive is the same caveat that I live by now. The last person you want to see on the witness stand looking at you is me. Now, implied in that, hey, as long as you brought your business, we cool. But if you're acting a fool, I'm acting like I don't know. So within what you said, if it's only 5 of us in a room and one of us is eliminated, if the other 4 are acting like a fool, don't nobody care that you're gonna ask.
Correct.
You gotta make sure you're bringing the smoke so that there's some degree of concern if you ask. Because 4 fools asking someone trying to run a business, they know how to handle that. Get rid of you too.
And also, you also don't have to know how to defend it. So for example, if you're responsible for getting someone promoted, but if someone higher than you or another persuasion makes the decision, and someone of their persuasion gets the position, I would always frame the question, hey, I'm sure there were different variables that went in making the decision you made. But I would need for you to give me a list of what it is that I did wrong. And I properly prepare my person to get in position. Or, man, it's a smoky question, right? Well, we got to put them on the spot to let them figure out, oh, he's paying attention, right? Because I want to know the next time a position comes up, I want to make sure that he gets that position.
So you ask a reasonable question versus going to act like a fool.
Can't act like a fool.
Just ask. It also helps you.
I want to pivot on another piece too, just, so we're talking about the business side, sat in that stress piece of that, right, the mental wellness piece. I don't know what challenge y'all, but challenge sister that makes you say, are you actually over there breathing time? I am, I definitely am, but in me, I think it's, the business piece is one piece, but it's simply just calm and checking, we call them stressful situations, right? And I think that we don't do enough of that in this industry to be supported as well. And I mean, I go as far as keeping, I mean, even before Ryan got me, I'm like, bro, where you at? You in town? Kyle, are you on town? Are you gonna be here? I checked in with Ryan, I checked in, and that's not to say, oh, look at me, but these are brothers that I built relationships with. And I was actually checking in and see, are y'all here? And we check in for periodically from time to time as well. And so it's just about how, I know Ryan started that new agency, bro. And I told him when we talked, I said, Ryan, look here, bro, it's tough. You're gonna start from scratch. And you got a wife and kids. I can tell you what, bro, you better figure that out, because wife gonna be looking at you like, where that check in? I've already lived that life. I'm trying to help you understand what that is like. But just the support of being able to hear and have them bounce off. Say, man, here's what I'm thinking about. What's going on? The young brother Trey asked a question yesterday about having acquired those businesses, but how do I work with my staff? Those are things that you're looking at differently. I heard someone talking about the P&L. I was an insurance agent. Then I became an agency owner. That was 2 different worlds. I didn't know what understand profit and loss statements. I didn't know what was profitable or not. So having people that have those expertise, like once we build in and we can connect, that's a different ballgame. And we don't do enough of it. And here's the other thing. Let me just put it out here. Y'all ain't my competition. I'm the only competition I have. My competition I got is y'all can't. We can't compete with each other. We different. So if you in Detroit, I'll tell you everything. I had a mentor tell me one time to tell them everything they know, but 98% of them ain't gonna never do it. So that's safe. And it's been, I give you the whole blueprint, you still ain't. It's like competition is never an issue. And I think as Black men, we get into this thing of the ego deal. I'm like, I don't have an ego with. I want to do collaborative work with you. There's a space that I don't know about this. I don't want to. Somebody says to me, "You can learn great PNC." No, I don't. I mean, I don't. That's not what I do. Not what I do. I'm gonna stay doing what I do. But if I have a collaborative effort with you, then I shouldn't have to worry about that. I should be able to tag you and say, "Hey, brother, there's an opportunity for you to go and do this." And all I ask is that you don't muddy up my name in the process, because it's my client, right? But I think those types of opportunities, but it comes because Ryan and I talk. correctly, that I can talk to town. Nobody's just gonna do that out the gate. And I mentioned the conference does do business. Well, yeah, we gotta figure. I don't know. You know, hey, I'm sitting y'all representatives here, and it ain't y'all. So I don't know who it is. LinkedIn and social media tell a whole lot of story that ain't the truth, right? So I mean, it's getting to know and have those relationships. But I'm just saying, we gotta check on each other too, y'all. We business, but we just need to check the second. Rod, you good? You know what I mean? Are you good? I'm just checking in on my brother to see you good. I'm telling you, and I'm busy as everybody else, but it just makes sense to check in on somebody that I know what you do. I understand the process. Most of us don't have, because here's the other thing. I don't have a lot of people in my industry that I can talk to about what's going on. So to have brothers that are in the industry that actually have an understanding of it, that's a different ballgame. Cool to talk to some of my other business folks that can give me some other insight. But when I'm talking specifically about our industry, I'm talking specifically when I showed up this conference and you said, and I was the only one, and we had 4 others, and then nobody spoke. And I'm like, man, I said, these ninjas, they turn to people talking. Because it's like, we walk next to each other and we only 4 cities. Make no sense. I mean, I don't know nobody else here. I gotta go sit with these clowns over here because I can't talk to these. That makes absolutely no sense. And I've watched it happen. Conference after conference after conference, and it's still happening. This is the best conference where I can look at least just about 9. I'm like, it's gonna be what it was happening. It's a good deal. So let's just check on each other's sites. I saw a question back there.
Right after the George Floyd murder, Liberty Mutual, was, actually, Amari was with the company back then, Amari and TV. He got together like, talk about, let's have a conversation, so like, it was like the best hour ever. It's coming on, they feel like, yeah, it's like, yo, we can do this again and get my brothers involved. Next call, we had 30. Next call, we had 7. Next thing you know, we had like 100 brothers on the call. It's chopping it up, but also at the same time talking about how you doing, how can support you. Ladies are, yo, it's some brothers we think. The ladies group, and seeing the ladies group started. Now we have within the company the chat we call Black Excellence, almost 600 people, just Black people. And everyone, we say it's betting, but we want to make sure people who are in there aren't just skin color, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's for us. We don't need somebody going to go telling. But it's a cooperative where someone's like, I need help on this, somebody in this department, what's happening. And to your point, it's not about competition. We all rise, one rises and all rise. We're all pushing each other up, we're all pulling each other up. So that being said, before we leave this room, I want to see if we can get everybody's information. I know we're all at NAAIA, but how do we create a LinkedIn group or something? We can say, hey, here's a group of us. It starts out with whatever, 25, 30 hours in this room.
There's already.
Okay. So my bad. Yeah, you can check me in there. What I do, you guys know, I appreciate it. Thursday, I'm ready. But we can continue this dialogue and do that, check in. Maybe we set up virtual meetups. I mean, I'm not sure what else is going on there. I know Ngozi's ping me, invited me to the sessions. That's why I'm here today. So if we can be more proactive, more intentional, to your point of checking in on them, figure out people in our area, see if we can get linked up live. If we can do more of that, I think that will help us grow so that LinkedIn group, how many people there are now, maybe next year we come to NAAIA, maybe we have our own breakout. Not just this, but something else is going on. We all get together and job it.
My name is John Green. I'm on the agency side. So I text, I talk to him almost every day, if not twice a day. Maybe more, considering what we're talking to. And Carrie mentioned a lot of horsepower. And my question is, how can we take this collective talent and go to finish. Because far too many people get introduced to management training programs, don't have people to talk to, they check into the industry, they check out. So how do we create a space where they can get this information, go collectively and they can kind of figure out how to navigate when they don't know in the office, don't know who to talk to. And it starts from the university level. So like university just push people down the road, you don't really give them any type of support. It's like whoever's gonna give the school the money, that's who they're gonna push you to go to. And then so it happens on the financial services side, it happens on the insurance side. You know, I just couldn't I couldn't know how to talk to. It took me places where I didn't know anybody, and I went from my neighborhood. So people just get exposed and then they check out. And then we look back and there's nobody in the pipeline. So my struggle is I look around, there are bald head brothers and great people in the room. How do we build the bench? Because we're not gonna be here to carry it. We don't, so we need to get that.
Let's jump on that, or to the place, to sit right there behind you. I mean, let's not recreate the wheel when we don't have to. The goals you started, the Black Man insurance industry is building. The way we do it is subscribe, participate, be there to do those things, get on a committee. We don't have to build new groups, we got one. And to Amir's point, get on board and let's get some momentum, just keep it going. Respond to Amir's emails.
Well, I just make this comment because I think it's also the point around the ring take group. This is that group, that platform is yours to do what you want with it. It was created for you as Black men. I want to highlight the fact that we have to also communicate, not just to check in, but let everyone know what's going on. And I just really want to highlight the Gentlemen of Insurance, which is another group of Black men in the insurance industry. Again, we don't need to recreate the wheel, but we need to collaborate and bring these groups together. I want to highlight them because when we talk about pipeline, everyone knows I teach at Fifth University, and I do a lot of work to engage different HBCUs. Rebecca's in the background, she does that as well. The benefit of being on campus was intentional. Like I got enough stuff to do. I got 4 kids. I got enough businesses. I'm here with y'all. Like I got enough stuff to do, but it's intentional because being on campus allows me to have direct access to those students, right? I'm the flyest professor on campus and we're my J's, but I do that so they notice me and they come to me and they speak to me. We had 13 students from Fisk and Cheney. I couldn't have done that without the Gentlemen of Insurance. I called Kareem, I called Herman Ross. I said, I need some money. I need some money to bring 2 Black students, 2 male students to this conference. And they showed up. Rob contributed, there's a number of you that contributed. That's the pipeline. Now, when the students got here, I said, they just can't be here and y'all not meet them. So thanks to NAAIA, I had a whole suite. So I was like, we're gonna use that suite for purpose. Those gentlemen had a session with these men. Now, I'm telling you about 2 Cheney students. There was already 4 Fisk male students. The Fisk students were like, oh dang, they meeting with the Black professionals. We want in. So now there's 6 male students in the room with what, 6 of you from the Gentlemen of Insurance? And that's where the exchange starts to happen. Now they were all cramped up in a little suite, but that's the exchange that starts to happen. So that's where we have to be intentional. But I want you to speak about the conversation you guys had with them in the room.
I think it's important. I have students that as nobody spoke up and said I want to get insurance, but maybe a few of y'all would have some. I just wasn't, you know what I mean? I stumbled into it. And so these students came in and they talked about their respective majors, but what was interesting about it, the conversation with us, they had all figured out how to connect what they want to do into the insurance industry. And somebody spoke to it. One of the gentlemen in the room said something, said, oh, I can connect this. And one sister said, I'm going to be an attorney. They started talking about, hey, you can get an attorney on the insurance side. Here's what this looks like. We hadn't had those types of conversations before. And so we looked at how excited these kids, young adults, were excited. And they all were talking about, here's what I wanted. We had 2 saying that they were going to get licensed by the end of this year. I think Jacob said by the end of this semester.
Like PNC and
licensed. So think about this, y'all. I mean, that now at 19 years old, 20 years old, you have a license that you can carry for you from here on out. long as you build seeds, you got this thing and it's gonna make you more marketable or whatever it is that you may be considering. And so those students were sitting there and we looked up and said, now if 13 of them are willing to come through, and even if we got 7 or 8 of them to actually pursue a career in insurance, that's changing the game. That's changing the game, and it's changing it at a level where they see it, they saw it, and so they saw us all dressed differently. They saw us all. I mean, in that room, we had agency owners. We had one brother who's actually owns his own medical stop loss carrier. I mean, you don't have no brothers. I don't know no brothers own medical stop loss carrier. Oh, wow. Only one I ever heard of. You know, we just started our own PBM, Black-owned PBM, pharmacy benefit management. So, I mean, you're talking about, they're looking at us and saying, whoa, this is different. We're talking about, here are the opportunities, and they're not, again, all on the side of agency. Here are the corporate opportunities that you have to put in place. And so when they walked out, then we invited, so we had just all the men, and sis called me and said, y'all rapping. I'm like, bring the sisters up here. And we kicked it with them. But that interaction, if you've never seen that, if you've never had that opportunity to ask those types of questions, to be in front of insurance professionals, heck, I can't get my own daughter to look at this thing and got all the benefits out of it. I mean, they're our best damn. So I just think that when we, those at the pipeline, like those is talking about, is there. So not only is she doing that there, she's looking at expanding to Central State. She's looking, we talk about it at FAMU. We're talking about it at all these different universities because it's replicatable. But we can't do it with the 6 or 7 brothers that we have in the room. We need a whole host of us that are saying that I'm willing, and I know whatever time it's going to take, but I'm willing to have that conversation with one of these young folks to let them know, here's what I do, here's why I do it, and here's what the opportunity is. The brother said about, we say 56 billion, trillion, and 56 billion in just your sector, in just your spot, your spots. Come on, bro. We need to have those conversations. Rebecca, I see you had your hand up.
Yeah, so good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I want to commend Josie for all the great work that she does in the industry. And together, we put together the pipeline. She acknowledged me, so I'll mention HBCU Impact really fast. Is a pipeline effort for licensing and attracting education and student HBCU students into the industry opportunities. We've been working on this initiative for some years now, and we have licensed students in. She's the agent influence and the claims influence. We've gotten students licensed. That effort continues. So feel free also to reach out about HBCU Impact. Thank you.
And let me mention one other thing with just like this. She worked by it. Well, we actually went down Quincy branch. You all know Quincy, but you know Auburn branch. Quincy and myself actually went to this campus to go take a visit and go spend time with students in the classroom. So for those who are in the Nashville area, you call, you know, you don't need to buy that area. Again, going in and spending that time, it meant everything. We helped look at some folks getting JD with internships, connecting the dots with them, and it's giving them an opportunity to interact with us in everyday setting. So I also, I'm already inviting people to your classroom. Okay, but hold them accountable.
And by the way, Rebecca's also the professor at Howard University, so I forget about that, the real issue.
Real fast, gentlemen, I'm Aaron Long with Apex Claims Management. I just want to make it clear, although it is such excellence, male excellence in this room, and from Rebecca. So let's not forget that although we want to lean on each other and shake each other's brother up and bro hug and all that, these women are making major moves in this industry as well. So, I mean, and I'm much rather cozy up with the woman that can help me as opposed to have hold man for the brother. But let's not forget these are doing things in their business, and to applaud them and encourage you that if you're not, to approach them as well, because, they're well with knowledge and sometimes a little more friendly.
Also, I've had the privilege of going with them to some of the campuses, and I tell you, you talk about them getting a license, but those kids not only have a license now, they have you guys as mentors. Can you imagine what their projection likely you're properly guided? So I want to commend you brothers that reached out to them. I still get messages today from the kids I met at the talking about, hey, Mr. Evans, just want you to know I'm graduating this weekend. Same kids that we met at your event. So if you all ever have the opportunity to visit the campuses with them and contribute in any way, trust me, you'll get more out of it than you think you're doing it. You think you're doing it for kids, it's more beneficial for you. All right? I saw you and then you go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Clayton. I'm with Verisk. I'm part of the DC chapter. So I'd like to talk about insurance designations and education. Right. So like I know Trey got his CPCU. I have my CPCU. Does anyone else in the room have designations? What you say? It's just not yeah. There are other designations as well too, you know, CIC, RRM, then the list goes on. It's an alphabet soup. But where I'm going with that is that Louis right here asked me about that designation. One of the things I found in my career early on is that when you ask about this education, you know, these other societies that you belong to, you know, folks are like, who's going with that? You know, you would be interested in that. That's a lot of work. Well, I mean, it's worth it, right? I mean, you don't. You know, maybe for the agency side, I'm sure working for a good foot trade there, but you know, maybe you don't need it. You can get some of that education elsewhere, but it's a game changer as well too for your career. All those acronyms and what have you, WC, you name it, all that stuff. That's all in there. Sure, you can find that stuff yourself, but this is an insurance education route. And so where I'm going with that is when it comes to pipelining, is that there's a lot of information on the CDC website. In that society, any student in any school across the nation has access to that website. And so one of the things I'm working with, I'm trying to work with the Gamma Iota Sigma chapters at HBCUs, make sure that when these kids graduate out of the risk management program, that they have at least 2 exams under the belt when they got student.
Folks, we're not trying to rush you, but we are a little time sensitive here. So we have. So just you get the mic, be very concise, and let's keep it moving.
I'm Harry and I'm with Sonco. I just have a curious question as to where are you with your mental health? How you check in? Because I'm hearing the word check-in a lot with everyone. And I'm curious, like, have you had check-in with someone and tell about your mental health journey, like, you know, are you struggling and what advice you given or what advice you give to other professionals within the industry? Because I have struggled with it personally and I've been told just suck it out. It's a tough industry. So I'm just curious, like, what exactly the experience has been as well.
So first of all, someone telling you just suck it up is bullshit. Yeah. Just say that. John said earlier, right? Can I communicate every day? We talk probably 5 times a week. And the topics range from our children, significant others, business, the code applications to the points we got access to. So the easy answer is find yourself a job, find yourself a minute, right? Like John, and then that person. Yes. So you can find yourself a lead. But yeah, I would say just, you know, find that person that you can have those conversations. Right? And then maybe so it actually ties into what you just asked about. So most of you know me with Liberty. And I walked away 2 years ago. Okay. I was 50 pounds heavy, severe depression, PTSD, and combat vet, almost put a bullet in my boss's head.
So it was safe for me to step away. That has opened a whole world of opportunities. Because what I've learned from my mentors and coaches and therapists and psychiatrists and all that is that there are 4 levels of value. And they like to keep us in and I use the they. And in the first level of value, which is implementation, which is the work. Okay, you use your body to do the work. Where when you take the time to check in, you actually end up in the highest level of valuation, which is called imagination. Because they keep you so busy with the work, you ain't got time to think. You don't have time to reflect. Or by the way, the second highest level of value is communication. And you talk about how do you tap the young generations. Well, NAAIA has the national top development competition that happens every year. And we have gotten to the point that, because it was always the statement of, hey, we can't find qualified talent. And we started putting the best of the best forward and setting the bar. Now, I'm going to brag on my students because 3 out of the 4 years that I coached and led, they were national champs. Carriers were looking for those who came through my team. All that to say, next week, I'm speaking at Forbes to a group that have to make at least $1 million or above, and to invite only. We have the horsepower. Part of the reason why I'm speaking there is the youth that I helped build. So don't underestimate that. And when it's time for competition again, the input that you can provide to these young professionals to help them understand the scope and you open yourself to their way of thinking.
Outstanding. Give that man a hand. All right, folks, we're at that time. We'll be around. So if you have questions, stop through and ask us, but I think we're gonna get set up for the speed mentoring. And with that, thank you for participating and for being here. Thank you.
I'm gonna say bye to the audience. All right, so this is really informal. Now, you've spent a 2.5 day, thank you, Owen. You spent 2.5 days together already. You got the gala coming up. This is gonna be short and sweet. We still have a few men in the room. I know it's been a long day.